The other story, and this is a big one too. It's not a disaster situation, but it's another one of those where if you're a Packer fan, you are not happy today to see that Nate Hobbs is getting minor knee surgery. It's preventative knee surgery is what everyone's saying, just to make sure that he's ready to go come the regular season. And this has been something we've talked about at length now with the Packers. Everyone has their attention on the edge rushers. Everyone's had their attention on the receivers. The cornerback room, after losing Jair, it's very thin there. There's not a lot of depth for the Packers at cornerback. And we've been discussing, Ziggy and I were advocates of bringing Jair back if you were the Packers. That relationship, it just fell apart, like it wasn't going to happen.
And Jair's not practicing for the Ravens either.
So that would get you so far. But the problem is, if you do wind up having injuries, that Packer cornerback room, now we're starting to talk about Bo Melton a little more seriously. And no Packer fan actually wants to hear that. So Hobbs should be okay. He's potentially in line to play week 1. LaFleur said, I'm not going to put a timetable on it. Unfortunately, had to have something cleaned up. We're hoping to get him back sooner rather than later. So we'll see. It's a 3-week recovery timeline. That's right around the week 1 area. And hopefully for the sake of the Packers, any Packers fan is saying we get Nate Hobbs for that game. I'm okay with it though, Ziggy. Like, as far as there is a certain degree of risk every time you have a surgery, right? And he might have been fine for the entire season, but this is a guy who's missed 16 games over the past 3 seasons, and they do need him. So while it's a little concerning, I would say I'd rather be on the side of caution than not when it comes to this cornerback room in Green Bay, and I'd be okay with it.
The 16 game stuff, I think you're going to see that number thrown on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little misleading because some of that was his rookie season when he ended up on the COVID reserve list and he wasn't really a starter anyway. But 2022 of the broken hand and 2023 of the ankle injury, that was certainly legit.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised that, they didn't catch this sooner. Like they brought him in for physical. They've been monitoring it. It feels sort of weird that it's happening now. But at the end of the day, if you're the Green Bay Packers, it doesn't really matter. Even if Nate Hobbs misses week 1, this is not a big deal. Barring something enormous, like the recovery goes terrible, his knee is infected, and he has to have his leg amputated. Barring something like that, like you're going to be just fine. No, but I mean, like that's the only way this goes wrong. Realistically, Nate Hobbs will be back for you at the latest week 2 or week 3. Like Hobbs said, right? He plays in big games. He does, even if he doesn't know if he's going to be able to do it, he's played through a lot in his career. Like he's going to be all right for them.
Well, week 1's a big game. Like that. I mean, that week 1 is a monster game.
Yeah. Well, and you're certainly going to have your cornerbacks tested that game, right? Like against the Detroit Lions. So I agree it's a big game. I just mean, if you look at their schedule, like there's a lot of big games on there. Nate Hobbs will be able to play for most of the season for you. This isn't like J.J. McCarthy last year, where he has a meniscus injury and then he's out for the whole season.
No. So, he'll be fine. But
I see this as less of a big deal. I mean, obviously you want him practicing. You're bringing him into a new role. He's going to be cornerback 1 for the first time really in his whole career. He's played it, but he hasn't been asked to do it in preseason before. But it's more of a warning shot. Like, hey, 1 or 2 injuries, things could start looking very bad very quickly for this room.
No, and that's the fear here. But so let's assume everything goes fine and Nate Hobbs keeps his leg and recovers fine from this surgery. Then yeah, like the Packers have their eyes on the Super Bowl. Nate Hobbs came out and said it. He's like, in Green Bay here, it's not about making the playoffs. It's about winning the Super Bowl. And for that to happen, you're going to need a healthy Nate Hobbs this season. So let's say from week 2 on, he's fine. Great. Totally on board with the surgery. The thing is, though, that week 1 game really, at the end of the year, I would not be surprised if that week 1 game is one of the big deciders in who's winning the division. So you're really hopeful you get him back. And I wouldn't rush him back. If you're deciding to get the surgery, you want him to be fully recovered. So now it's sort of a matter of wait and see here. Will he be okay for that Detroit game? Because if he's out, yeah, they can still win that game, obviously. The Packers defense is still very good, but he's a major piece of that. And you said, he has cornerback 1 sort of expectations there in that room. So when you have Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams coming into town, you're going to have to focus a lot of attention. What's the thing Detroit's great at? Ground and pound, baby. That's what they do. When you're going to have to be loading the box, you want Nate Hobbs on the islands. And that's just something we're going to have to wait and see if he's playing in that game. Kind of interesting, Ziggy, in the NFC North, particularly the two teams we talked about today with the Packers and Vikings, between Isaiah Rodgers and Nate Hobbs, like which one of those guys, if not both, is going to step up and fill a major role here? Because the Viking and Packers secondary, it's a little similar to me. I think Byron Murphy's the best of the group, but there are two units that we look at right now and say, man, like an injury or two, and they're in a lot of trouble. And we're also relying on some young guys stepping up and really filling voids. And at the forefront of it are two guys coming in on real, like, kind of prove it opportunities. Like the Packers invested a lot in Nate Hobbs. The Vikings are really banking on Isaiah Rodgers. And if only one of them is going to take a leap, like that could be such a vital position for these teams that it elevates the whole defense to playoff caliber. Like it's a massive spot that Hobbs and Rodgers are stepping into.
To be clear, the Packers are much higher on Hobbs. They've invested a lot more in Isaiah Rodgers.
Yes.
Like Isaiah Rodgers, he does not really have a chance of winning the cornerback one job in Minnesota.
No, he doesn't.
They're bringing him and paying him like they think he can.
No, he doesn't. But Isaiah Rodgers, if Isaiah Rodgers does not pan out, now we're talking about Okudah and Blackman coming off major injury. Like Isaiah Rodgers
has heard the news about Okudah. Things coming out of him in Minnesota from Brian Flores, they're so high on.
Oh, good. I thought there was some new news, and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh no, the news is this guy's apparently been unbelievable. His athleticism fits pretty well into what Flores wants to do. But the thing about secondaries always, I find it a very hard thing to predict in the offseason. You have to just see how these guys play in their particular schemes. Because Hafley and Flores both are guys that are willing to do unconventional stuff and play tricks of cornerbacks, use them in all sorts of different ways. Obviously, Flores on a different level than in that way. But at the end of the day, I've been saying that a lot lately.
Well, that's okay.
You got to get Nate Hobbs healthy. You got to get Jordan Addison on the field. But these are teams that need their best players playing. Both of them need high-level production from guys. Get Nate Hobbs out there.
Who do you think... So this is kind of just an on-the-spot. I apologize for throwing this in your face here. But between the Vikings and Packers secondary right now, which one would you take heading into the season?
Easy Packers.
Easy?
I think their safeties are at another level. And the cornerbacks, I'm more confident. The Vikings have more established cornerbacks, but the Packers, they were a very good pass defense last year. This is easy to forget. The advanced metrics had them as a top 10 pass defense without some of the shenanigans you see in Minnesota. I think the Minnesota defense was lucky last year to lead the league in not lead the league in takeaways, but to be third in the NFL in takeaways. I think that's going to come down a little bit. Xavier McKinney is that guy. Evan Williams is that guy. And their cornerbacks, we're waiting for one of them to be a star, but all of them were solid last year. I mean, guys like Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon were thrown into big roles of Jair out last year, and they were okay. I'm taking the Packers route.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer. I like the Vikings pieces, but there's definitely more question marks there. But I love Josh Metellus. I love Harrison Smith, but yeah, Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney.
They're both worse. I think they're both. The NFC North is the best safety division in football, without question.
Oh yeah, not even close. The Lions have the best safety room in the league, and the Packers are what, like 3 or 4?
3. Yeah, they're right there. The Vikings, I think, are borderline top 10. Even the Bears aren't terrible. I mean, the NFC North is safety you.